And good afternoon, grad stars. And what a wonderful afternoon it is. My name is Laura Barker. I'm the Managing Director of Black Bark Productions and also the founder of the Grad Star Programme. I'm sure many of you have seen me before over the years. Thank you for joining us here today at the Old Mutual Tech Talent webinar. As many of you will be aware, Old Mutual, an important partner of GradStar, and they're also a major employer of all of you GradStar students out there. Over the past 5 years, GradStar has recognised and assisted with the employment of thousands of students just like yourselves. And we're here today with one of our top employers to provide another forum for you to take the opportunity to ask about your futures and to cement your futures. Just a quick note on our social media. We have an active social media platform. We'd love you to like us, comment, and post your feedback about the event as soon as it's over. Coming to the real world right now, we know it's in turmoil. We know it's uncertain. We know for students particularly, it's got to be difficult. Academic years, graduating by post, all those hard work you've put in over the years. But we're here today, and a major part of it is to tell you that you've got this. We believe in you. The employers are still here, and they're still waiting for you. Along this line, the Old Mutual team have lined up an awesome agenda for you guys today. They have put together something which shows how they've had to move with the times and how they've become real cyber warriors. And what's more, they are here specifically to invite you to apply to their grad program. And what a grad program it is. You're going to hear all about it. And it also means that real jobs are still here, even in these uncertain times. So in addition to inviting you guys, specifically selected grad stars, to apply to their program, they're also offering as a prize a mentorship session, a 1-hour mentorship session with one of their seasoned professionals for someone who's active and engaged and asks wise questions. So please show up today. In addition, they are offering a Samsung tablet to another engaged attendee. So please, guys, don't miss out on the chance to win that tablet. So here's what to expect for the next 60 minutes. First up, there's an intro to the tech talent team from Tasneem Abrahams, an HR consultant for Old Mutual. She's heavily involved in the grad recruitment, so it is a time to shine in front of her. And then next up, we move on to a spectacular lady in the IT space, the CISO of Old Mutual, and someone to really aspire to, Carissa Varma. Now, Carissa is a special lady. She's been with Old Mutual since 2016, and she is responsible for delivering information security, business resilience, and IT risk portfolios across all of the markets that Old Mutual operates in. She's passionate about protecting Old Mutual as well as their customers and driving a security-conscious culture within the organization. Next up, after Carissa, we'll have Craig Josephs. Craig is the campaign support specialist within the Old Mutual information security team. He himself joined OM in 2016 as part of the grad program and is now part of the team that creates all awareness and training material for information security within the Old Mutual team. After that, this is your chance to shine, guys. There is a Q&A where I will pose some of your questions to Carissa and Craig. So not only is it the chance to win some prizes, it's the chance to really find out what's going on in the grad program and really find out if you're a match. So after that, to finish off, we've got a real treat and a real honest moment where we will feature Indipile. We will feature Indipile. Indipile joined the Tech Talent Grad Program in 2019, and she's just completed the 18 months. So there's no better opportunity to ask your questions about the program, and she can give you her experience, what she's been through, and what it entails. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Tasneem to stage to introduce the Tech Talent team and Cyber Heroes. Tasneem. Okay, let's just see what's going on. Hi, so I don't think Tasneem can hear us. Can anybody else hear?
I can hear you.
Hi,
Carissa.
Carissa, can I ask you, can we start with, as Taz can't hear at the moment, maybe we can just start with your presentation and then we can bring Taz on afterwards.
Sure, no problem.
Awesome. Thank you, Carissa. I know you're prepared and good luck.
Great. So someone can just bring up my slides for me. So first of all, while my slides are coming up, let me just congratulate all of you that are sitting at this meeting today. I think, selecting a career in technology is for many reasons definitely the right decision. If you look at growth in jobs globally, tech jobs are just growing exponentially in South Africa, but as well as the world. I'll tell you a little bit about myself before I kick into the presentation. So I've worked for many organizations across South Africa and internationally as well. My entire career has been in technology, specifically in information security. It's something I'm completely passionate about. I can't see myself working in any other field because I love the diversity and I love the challenge that comes from working in technology. I don't know if you guys can see my slide. I can't see it on my side. So I really wanted to speak to you guys about the changing tides of what's happening in the world. So you may have heard the story before, but this bridge is in Honduras. And the aim of what the architects and engineers were trying to do when they built this bridge, it's called the Choluteca Bridge, was to build something that was so strong that it could stand the pressure of a hurricane, a scale 5 hurricane. And as you can see, a hurricane tore through Honduras. The bridge still stands post the hurricane. And while you may think this is a story of triumph, it's actually a story of loss. If you look at what happened to the course of the river just basically moved. And so now we have a solid bridge that's standing completely over solid ground, and you still do not have a way to pass the river. And I think that's what COVID has really done to our world. It's completely disrupted the world as we know it. It's changed the way we think. It's forced us to think in new ways that, disrupt the course of what the world looks like. And technology needs to adapt and adjust as quickly as the world is adjusting. Otherwise, we become the bridge over solid ground, not able to take our organizations and our customers where we need to take them to. If we can move on to the next slide. I think the next point I'll really make is everybody's in the technology business today. And this is a picture of a farmer, but if you think about me on a daily basis, I wake up in the morning, I probably greet my family, but my work is completely 100% online. I get online in my computer, in my home, and I'm working from home. When I do my grocery shopping nowadays, it's completely online. When I speak to my family, it's completely online. So everybody's in the technology business nowadays. People that are not traditionally known as technology companies are starting to adapt and adjust and implement some really amazing technologies to be able to become front of mind and center stage, because that's the next era of business. If you don't have a technology minded business, you won't have a business in future. And at Old Mutual, we're very conscious of this. So we've got a massive amount of investment and a massive amount of focus on technology and enabling our business and our customers through technology. And we've done some really fantastic things across the business, which a video that we'll share shortly will show you. If we can go into the next slide. Bringing it in more specifically to security, and I like this image of the concert, because when you go to a concert, you're really there to see the artist. The artist is there to perform, and the crowd is there to jump up and down and cheer and really have a good time. But there's a security guard, and he's there to sort of make sure that the crowd control is good and that everybody is behaving so that you can actually enjoy the concert. So what happens if the security guard starts partying along with the crowd and not doing his job? Well, then probably nobody has a good time. And that's how I see security. We're really there to make sure that our organizations can expand, that our businesses can expand, that our customers can have the best experience, but to make sure that people are safe while they're doing that, and to really make sure that the complete package and experience is a good one. We can move on to the next slide. And this is probably going to show my age. I don't know if there's a Terminator around when you guys were, well, maybe some of the newer Terminator movies, but this is really from when I was very young. I used to love the Terminator movies. And the world is massively adopting automation and AI. But automation and AI alone won't be enough to save us. Automation is great, and I love what it brings to our organizations. I love what it brings to our jobs. It takes away the manual intensity of our roles. It allows us to think and process and bring our thought leadership into the forefront, and to really reduce the amount of manual tasks that we need to do to allow us to free up capacity to actually think strategically and about what we want to do. But AI alone won't be enough. Artificial intelligence and automation alone won't be enough. We need the best skills and we need the best people to be able to make sure that what we're configuring and what we're implementing is actually the best technology that we can for Old Mutual and for our customers. And we're very conscious of this, which is why we invest heavily in our graduate program to bring in the best talent in South Africa and across our African markets to make sure that along with the great technology that we're deploying, we have the best people to be able to support it and to be able to drive it into the future. We can go to the next slide. And then I just basically wanted to really talk to you about cloud. Old Mutual made public that we are partnering with Amazon Web Services last year. We've had a very aggressive and a massive success with our migration into AWS. It's provided an enormous amount of opportunity for our own staff to grow and to challenge themselves to be able to scale across multiple new technologies, experience multiple new things, and to be able to really get an agility that was not possible before. We heavily embrace cloud technology. We believe it's the right approach for Old Mutual and for our customers, and it's really built a very forward-thinking and a very inspiring type of environment to work in, which a lot of our graduates actually really thrive in. And then we can go on to the last slide of mine. And I think the last slide is really a slide for you guys. I think if you really want to be the next generation of technology leaders at Old Mutual, if you want to join our graduate program, you need to have ruthless focus. And the story behind this one is this is a peregrine falcon, and it's one of the fastest birds in the world. But I was in New York a few years ago, and I was sitting on the side of the road eating something from a street cart, as you would do in New York, and something swept in. And in between the people that were walking on the streets and the yellow cabs and the really hustle and the bustle and the very busyness of New York, something swooped in, grabbed a pigeon, and flew away. And before I even knew what was happening or could even question what was happening, it was gone. I actually didn't know what it was. And so I was quite shocked. And a guy walking past me said, yeah, that's a peregrine falcon. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. And he was like, no, well, actually, they're quite common in New York. But the thing that struck me about this bird was it had laser focus. It knew exactly what it was going for. It didn't care about the noise on the street. It didn't care about me eating my shawarma on the side. It didn't care about the yellow cabs. It swooped in, it grabbed what it was looking for, and it left. And that laser precision is what will get you into a graduate program like Old Mutual. Focus, work hard, know what you want to get out of this, and it's an amazing opportunity to learn at scale and speed. And so the ball is really in your hands to be able to make the most of it. That's my last slide. And I know I'm shuffling the agenda a little bit, and we'll go back to Tasneem afterwards. But maybe if we can go into the video in a few seconds. What this video shows is some of the great things we've been able to achieve as Old Mutual Security. So our team has over the last few years spent a large degree of time transforming our capabilities. We adopt cutting edge technology, sometimes the best, the first in South Africa or in Africa. And we apply it at scale. We apply it across the group. 14 African countries all come along with our initiatives. And so it's really a very dynamic, very exciting experience to work in an organization that is looking to adopt technology like we have. And we've done it very successfully. So the video that I'm going to show you guys now just looks into some of the successes we have had over the last 12 months, actually, probably from So probably around the last 8 months. So it's the successes we've had over the last 8 months. There are many more that came before it. So enjoy the video.
They were challenged with the crucial need to upgrade and migrate their core security infrastructure to a more stable and fitting design. And in just a matter of weeks, the customer quickly and successfully upgraded their entire estate to Checkpoint R80, which included all management appliances and gateways in their core and perimeter environments. Congratulations to Old Mutual.
Woo!
What a great presentation, Carissa. Thank you. What a great video. I see there's huge amounts of questions in the chat about how do we apply? What does the grad program entail? We'll get to that. You are all here because we want you to apply. But on that note, I would like to introduce Craig to say a few words about the program and his role. Craig, welcome. Craig, I think you're on mute.
Can you guys hear me now?
Perfect, thank you. Go on, well, good luck.
Well, first of all, that's the world of online right now, MS Teams. People are constantly talking while on mute. Yeah, there's many team meetings where we find that happening. I just want to say hi, everyone, and thank you very, very much for having us today. As Laura said, I am the campaign on awareness and training. So an interesting fact is that 95% of data breaches actually occur due to human error, which is why we put such a strong emphasis on people. People are ultimately our strongest defense, which is why I have a dedicated team to awareness and training. So if we could go through our slides, please. Cool, and to the next one as well. Great. So we have partnered with an international-based company, which also has branches in South Africa, called KnowBe4, to create content which is really engaging, relevant, and relatable. So it's not just your usual boring training. So I think one of the key important things to understand is people. People are at the core of everything we do. So we need to find ways to engage with them. I'm sure you guys have seen surveys and done some sort of training that is quite boring. So we try and get away from that. So KnowBe4, which are our partners, as I said, have actually engaged with some of South Africa's top comedians like the Goliath brothers, Loyiso Mandinga, and more to create information security awareness videos. So this is what we actually use for our training. Apart from this, we also do things like events. So as you can see in the image there, there's a maze. So this was what we did for Cybersecurity Month last year. We did a giant maze. It was made out of Lego blocks, and each room had a different activity related to cybersecurity that users, or staff, I should say, could play. There was things from Spot the Fish, training, different things. We also had talks. So it was a big event. In fact, it was the most well-attended event ever in Old Mutual's history in terms of a staff event. We had over 3,000 people over 2 days. So for something like cybersecurity, I think that's quite a big achievement to have, especially since it's quite new for many people. Yeah, could we get to the next slide, please? Cool. So essentially, like I said, we're trying to do things very different when it comes to awareness and training. So we're creating a sort of content hub for innovation, awareness, and training. So as I said before, we did the Cyber Maze last year for Cybersecurity Month. This year, we're switching it up. Obviously, we can't have physical events, so we're doing an online event for Cybersecurity Month this year. Things we are looking to for next year, though, are things like we didn't want to do a cyber escape room. So I'm sure you guys have seen or been to those escape rooms where you have to find security. Any of you guys have also seen the security, well, not Security Feud, but the Family Feud game hosted by Steve Harvey. Developing an information security game next year, which will be kind of quite groundbreaking in terms of information security. It will be sort of like a Plants and Zombies type of game, but everything's based on security. Also looking at using vlogs and blogs. Like I said, we don't want to use the traditional email. A segment this year where we interviewed the youngest person in Old Mutual IT as well as the oldest person in Old Mutual IT, and we kind of compared the two and the answers, and it was actually quite a good video and quite humorous to see. And also another thing we're doing is we're going to team up with the behavioral economics team. So that is basically a team focused on studying human behavior, how humans behave, what changes the behavior, and we want to use that to change people's behaviors, because ultimately that's what we want to do when it comes to security. Cool, next slide, please. Great, so yeah, and also another thing, we focus staff training especially. So this was done with Carissa Varma, who we just spoke to previously before this. She actually took the training herself, which is pretty awesome. I mean, to have a chief information security officer communicate with schools directly. So what happened is we invite the schools to attend this training session, and Carissa then took them through ways to remain safe online with regards to cybersecurity, but also how to handle their students. I mean, a lot of things are done online now with students and such, and we taught them how to just acknowledge that maybe some children don't know how to handle it and things like that. And we could plan on doing more of those later in the year across Africa, not just South Africa. So I think it's quite an impressive thing to have the sort of training for schools from a chief information security officer. And also we will be contributing to training or raising awareness, I should say, around IT and cybersecurity to 500 school children. So that's a combination of IT and cybersecurity that we're combining. That is one of the goals for next year. And the reason we're doing this is because South Africa and the world are going through difficult times, and many people are living in very challenging circumstances, to say the least. When to open the children's eyes, is that they, through education and by protecting themselves and their families from the dangers of cybercrime, and also just the possibilities of careers in IT and cybersecurity, so that they can create a better future, especially in these difficult times. Cool, next slide, please. Great, and that brings us to our Cybersecurity Academy, which is basically you guys that we're looking at. Why join cybersecurity, or as we generally refer to it as information security? While the cybersecurity industry is one of the fastest growing industries in the world, and with cybercrime increasing exponentially, the industry will only continue to grow. The CEO of IBM was quoted as saying, "Cybercrime is the greatest threat to every company in the world." So you don't need to be a cybersecurity expert to understand that this is a huge area for growth. Cybersecurity has become critical to the fabric of any modern business, and as breach after breach hits the headlines, it's quite clear that organizations need more professionals focused on cybersecurity. Next slide, please. Great, so I bet you're wondering what that number is there. So organizations are struggling to meet the demand of the most in-demand professions in the world. So what this refers to is that there will be 3.5 million unfulfilled cybersecurity jobs globally by 2014. This was done by a job security survey. And well, this is not due to, also you must understand, this is not people looking for jobs and there's a shortage of they can't actually find the job. This is companies looking for people to fill the jobs, and they can't find it. 3.5 million jobs that they're looking for, companies are looking for, which is perfect for you guys. I mean, in this uncertain times, that's kind of pretty much amazing right now. And the situation in cybersecurity reflects skill shortages in the wider IT market. However, the growing scale and intensity of cyber attacks means that the demand for cybersecurity professionals is growing much faster than any other IT segments of the IT job market right now. And this provides substantial growth opportunities both in your career path and for learning opportunities. If you can move to the next slide, please. Cool. So why join us? Well, basically, we are an awesome team. That's why I joined us. As you saw in that video, we are an award-winning team, not only nationally, but internationally as well. For instance, we use the latest technology to fight cybercrime. The industry average to detect a data breach is actually about 6 months. 6 months for a company to detect a data breach. Dormant. They watch everything you do, what you communicate with people, to who you need to talk to get certain things, and then they wait for the moment to attack. So that's 6 months as the industry average. With our technology that we've adopted, we are able to detect breaches within minutes. So we are using the latest technologies from across the world. And Old Mutual has made a huge investment into cybercrime, and our team continues to grow rapidly. As I said before, I joined as a graduate program. We were a pretty small team back then, and that was just about 4 or 5 years ago. And the team has grown hugely since then. So if we could move on to the next slide, please. Cool. So when you join us, there will be a role rotation across the various teams with the information stream over 12 months. Like I said, when you join us, because I hope you guys do, because it's pretty awesome. You'll get to have the taste of all the different positions and aspects within the industry. So you'll learn about new technologies and the organization's work. So basically what we'll do is we'll put you in each team over your 12-month period. You'll get a certain period of time within each team. So you can gain knowledge about all the different aspects, all the different positions, what each team does. We're talking about from ethical hacking, guys who test our systems by trying to hack into our system. You'll work with the risk assessors, assessing all the risk in the business. You'll work with us, the information security awareness training team. You'll work with the operations team who actively look at current threats coming in and how to address those. So you'll get a vast view over 12 months of all the different sections. You'll be continually learning new skills and working to understand new technologies, and this presents a massive opportunity to stay engaged and challenged. I know one of the problems is a lot of people don't want to get bored in their job. This is your career, it's the rest of your life. You don't want to get bored, so this helps you to stay engaged and challenged. And you must remember, every component within IT has a security element. With each new wave of technology, new risks are created. It's the job of security professionals to identify, understand, and then address these risks. Through the role rotation, as I said, we'll gain real-world practical experience of the various positions available to the team. And that's one of the things I know, like I said, as a graduate, you come into the job industry and you're not exactly sure what to expect. Truth is, you don't really know what it's like till you actually work in those positions. University doesn't train you for that. But through this program, that's what you'll learn. You'll learn on-the-job experience to help you make an informed decision. And so also with this program, we'll have mentors to help you through your journey. You can go to them for anything you may need help with, whether it's advice on work, who to contact for various different things, or just career advice, and they will act as your big brother or big sister in this program. Cybersecurity is an industry that evolves every day as new threats and technologies are continuously being created. It's basically your team against a world of global threats, you against the bad guys. And kind of sounds scary, but it's also quite kind of awesome at the same time. You're actively, adapting or reacting to real world threats. And that's it's pretty exciting, to be honest. You'll continually be learning new skills and working to understand new technologies. And this presents a massive opportunity to stay engaged and challenged while doing work that is truly meaningful and that has a huge impact of the world. So with us, what we're going to do, we're going to create a structured plan for you to be the best to be able to meet your career goals. This will involve discussions to identify what your goals are, which may actually be different once you've experienced both all the different aspects. So you might have seen yourself going in one direction, but maybe once you've actually experienced it, which I know happens to a lot of people, happens to me, you might go in a different direction. And we'll create a specific plan to meet your individual needs and what further training or certifications you'll need to attain your career goals in the quickest time possible. So we're going to basically sit down with you essentially and see what you want to do. Okay, this is what you want to do, what career you want to get, where you want to get in a certain amount of time. Okay, let's sit down. What training do you need to do? What certifications do you need? And how can we get you there as quick as possible? We're working with you hand in hand to achieve your goals. And that's a pretty awesome thing, I must say. Like I said, I've been part of the graduate program. I'm now 5 years old mutual, and I'm still loving it. And it really helps you achieve your goals as quick as possible. Next slide, please. Great. And so I know there's a lot of benefits of working, especially in the IT, well, cybersecurity industry, or like as I said, information security industry. I mean, it's demanding, it's challenging, it's exciting. There is huge potential for growth. I mean, this industry is only going to grow and grow. And so there is huge potential for growth. It's in fact probably one of the most secure industries, which is ironic because it's called cybersecurity. But also you have to understand that besides all those things, this has real world impact. Besides all those other things, what we do is essentially we are protecting people. Like, this is a job you can actually go home at the end of the day and feel good about the work you did, because you're protecting people. You're protecting people's futures. You're protecting people's savings, their hopes and dreams, things they've worked all their life for. We essentially trying all we can to protect these people, and that's pretty much an amazing thing to be involved in. As a profession that's in demand and that impacts on people is quite rare, to be honest, in this world. So I think it's, personally from me, my perspective, it's an awesome industry to get into. Next slide, please. And great, so this is actually just a small part of our team. This was at our information security mid-year conference last year. We hope to see you soon. I hope you guys apply, because this is pretty much, it's not just an amazing industry. The Old Mutual team is an amazing team. It is not actually just a team. It's more like a family, to be honest. I mean, we joke, we play music in the office. Carissa, she's the chief information security officer, but she'll come around with you sometimes with a speaker dancing and such. Maybe I shouldn't even be saying that on this forum. Maybe that I'm not supposed to say, but it's a very lively team. You wouldn't think this from a cybersecurity team. And yeah, it's just awesome. And we like to eat a lot. I'll tell you that as well. So we hope to see you guys soon. And I'm really excited for you guys to apply. And I hope to see you guys next year. So thank you for your time and giving me the opportunity to speak to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Craig. Sounds fabulous. I have to tell you, there's a huge amount of love in the chat group, as well as a huge amount of questions. There's no way we're going to get through all of these questions, but I have made a note of some of the best ones. But I think you've got it sorted. Music and food, appealing to the student market, definitely the top grad program on offer. So Carissa and Craig, if I can ask you to come back on stage, and we've got quite a lot of questions in the Q&A. Awesome, thank you guys. So let's start up, as it's Women's Month, Carissa, let's start with you. There's one specific female question from Asisipo. She wants to know, and I'm sure you've been asked this question so many times before, how do you manage to cement trust, to succeed, to excel in this male-dominated industry? I mean, what's your secret?
So that's an excellent question.
I think you're unmuted.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can now.
Okay. Yep. So I think that's an excellent question. And because it is Women's Month, I get asked, this question quite often. And a few weeks ago, I was at a presentation, an internal or mutual presentation, where we spoke about like a girl. You know, when people say you run like a girl or you hit like a girl, it's a derogatory term. And I'm here to say I lead like a girl. I do. I don't lead like a man. I don't want to lead like a man. And I've been highly successful as leading like a girl. I care about my staff, which is very much what Craig has told you. I am the crazy person in the office that walks around with food and the speaker. That's fine that Craig told you about that. but I honestly care about every single person that works in my team. And I think it's one of the reasons that I've been very successful. I think my team, intrinsically, it senses that care and that trust. And I think it's made me hugely powerful. So if you ask me, how do you be successful in a male-dominated world, I'd say be yourself. And I say there's a space for all of us. So don't be afraid to lead like a girl. It's not derogatory, it's powerful.
I completely agree with you. I mean, there's too many examples where female leaders try to be male leaders in lipstick or in a skirt. And we have different qualities and we have our own strengths. And it's about, as you mentioned, caring for your employees, but being authentic. You can never match if you're not authentic to yourself. And I think you could never come across in a positive manner if you're trying to be somebody else. So thank you very much for that, Carissa. There's a specific question for you, Craig. They want to know, what was your background before you entered Old Mutual?
Cool. So I actually had a background. I did a BCom General with I specialized in information security. I'm not information security, sorry, information systems.
I think he's just stalled there. Oh. Are we there? Doesn't matter. Carissa, I've got another question for you if Craig's just lagged a bit. Micheline, who I know very well, Micheline's one of our top grad stars from last year. She wants to know, what's your favorite part of information security?
Wow, I think it's probably that it changes every day. I mean, the threats are changing so rapidly. And I think I love the fact that I get to engage across the breadth of the organization. I think when you choose something like information security, you naturally get thrown into every single aspect of your business, whether it is the business processes and your business decisions, whether it's the technology that you're implementing, and across the board technology, because all of them have security components. So I think it's the diversity that the field brings, as well as the fact that everything is, changes constantly.
Yes, I think that keeps it interesting every day.
Yeah.
There's a couple of questions about what individuals can do. I mean, Shelby's asked a lot of questions. You'll see in the chat log later when I send it to you. But Shelby says, are there any specific things, just on a high level, that we can do to protect ourselves from being hacked?
Yeah, sure. So I mean, obviously the longer your password is, the stronger it is. So I typically tell people to use pass phrases, not passwords. So if you want to put in a sentence from a song, like an entire sentence, I'm trying to think of a song and one's not coming to me right now, but if you think of an entire sentence from a song and you use that as your password, it is actually more secure than using something that is 8 characters with special characters and numbers and all of those things. The length is actually more important than the complexity. So the longer your password is, the better it is for you. The second thing I would say is, be careful which transactions you do from which devices. Always update your devices. So, and I have this conversation often with my mother, so it's a struggle even as a CISO. I got to tell her, Mom, please make sure you update your phone with security patches. Don't wait. I know it takes data, but you have to keep it updated because otherwise the bad guys will get you. It's an ongoing conversation and an ongoing challenge for me, every conversation I have with my mother. But that would be the next piece of advice. Really keep your devices up to date. Threats change all the time. So you unfortunately need to keep your device updated as frequently as you can. I think if you focus on that too, it's a good start.
Thank you for that. I have to say I'm awful at doing updates. And I never really saw the point. I didn't really understand what they were there for, but you've just explained that very succinctly. I think there's another question. There's a lot of questions. Let's go to, as a grad program, as Old Mutual, what are your cultural values? What are the top 3 values from a cultural match that you would look for in a student?
So I think, for me, passion is very important for what you're doing. I think I'm not expecting a graduate that starts with us to have all the skills off the bat. And Craig spoke about some of the training that we will take on. So skills is not necessarily the first thing for me. Attitude definitely is the first thing. The person that's willing to put their hand up, take a risk, take an opportunity. There's going to be a lot of opportunities when you join Old Mutual. The only way you're going to get noticed and you're going to get into the forefront and have people go, wow, that person's actually taking initiative, is your passion and your commitment to try new things, even though you don't understand it completely yet. And I think that would be one of the first things that I look for in a graduate, that incentive to take action and to try something new. Even if I don't understand it completely, I know I'll get the help and the support to do it, but to be able to take on something and try it.
Awesome. To just take the opportunity when it's there, to see the opportunity, grasp it, and stand up and be counted, I guess.
Yeah.
We're going to wind up. I'm going to ask one more question, but I'm going to start winding up this chat so that we have time to hear from Indy. I think from Emmanuel wants to know, and he's not the only one actually, is there anything current students can do, maybe final year students, is there anything they can do to upskill themselves in preparation?
Yeah, so there's a ton of free training. So if you look at, and I mentioned a few of the technologies that we use, but if you go into any of the AWS sites or the Microsoft sites, there's a ton of free training that you can do. And something like that actually really counts in your favor because it shows the initiative that you're taking on your own to understand the technologies that Old Mutual is using, and it'll be great for you in an interview when you can actually talk about these things that make sense to me and something I'm looking for. So as an employer, I think we're looking for people that are taking initiative to skill themselves up, and there's a ton of free stuff that you can use to do that. So go out there for the big brands, go for Microsoft, AWS, the big technologies that everybody's using, whether you end up with Old Mutual or with another organization, and I hope you'll end up with Old Mutual. It's really going to hold you in good stead for that interview period.
Awesome. In the audience, guys, I see there's a lot of questions about how do you apply, what's the age, what are the requirements. We'll come to that, I promise. But there's a huge amount of appreciation for the Old Mutual program for both you, Carissa, and you, Craig. Someone says here, thank you so much to both of you. You're great role models. That's from Taylor. So yeah, I think the presentation, there's interesting presentation, insightful, inspirational. So I think you guys have done an amazing job. I think you have an amazing program. And on that note, I would like to actually bring Tasneem up on stage to tell the whole audience a little bit more about what the program is and why it exists. Thank you, Craig and Carissa. Hi, Tasneem.
Hello, and hi, everybody else. So I think I'm so excited to be here. I know my part is supposed to be to tell you all about why you need to join the program, but I think Craig and Carissa just showed you exactly why. I think Old Mutual is such a dynamic organization to work for. This specific program, the Tech Talent Program, is specifically aimed at graduates, whether you're an undergrad or postgrad, students that specifically want a career in IT. And I think what makes our program so unique is that across those 18 months, you get an actual opportunity to use the most cutting edge technology to actually deliver into our customers. And what we do is we allow and we provide the support and the training for individuals to actually get certified in their area of interest. So we've showcased one amazing area, which is our security operations area with Carissa and Craig. And I think what is so important for you to understand is that our technology environment is so broad and dynamic that it incorporates aspects. If people want a career in data science, in software engineering, in DevOps, in cloud adoption, in the security operations team. So we'd like to really encourage you to apply for our program. It offers the opportunity for a potential international immersion, rotations across the various fields until you find your niche and what you're comfortable with, development opportunities, soft skills enhancement. So it's really quite a holistic program, creating that work on the most cutting edge technology, delivering into our customers. What's important. And I think the program is phenomenal. We do a lot of aspects around building community, making sure we meet regularly as a team. We've got a certified coach that heads up the program. And I think there is a phenomenal amount of support for somebody starting out in their career. And once you join, Old Mutual is really your oyster. So we are so excited to see your applications come through. There will be a slide that details all of the requirements for the particular program, as well as the application link. I could sit here forever and tell you about how phenomenal this program is. We'd really love to see your application come through. But instead, what I'd like to do is I would like to actually introduce Indy Pile, who is a graduate, and she has just completed our Tech Talent program, and she's currently permanently placed with the Old Mutual. So I'd like to give an opportunity to actually share a journey and what this was like on the Tech Talent program at Old Mutual. So thank you, and we are so excited to see your applications come through. Thank you, Laura. We can hand over to Indy.
Okay. Hello, guys. So as Tazim and Laura mentioned, my name is Indiphile Mkhotyana, Indy. I'm a UP alumni. I graduated both my bachelor's degree and my honors degree in information science. I joined the Old Mutual program in February of 2019 as a business analyst on a project team that was working on a new policy administration system solution, which is known today to the public as Old Mutual Protect. The past 18 months being on the program really were the most exciting time in my life so far. I started off in OMP, Old Mutual Protect, like I said, and then I had the opportunity to rotate into another project team that was working on the introduction of a new and exciting human capital management system that's solely for the Old Mutual internal staff. And currently, I have been permanently placed as a junior business analyst in the digital and data space. And I'm working in the project team that's working on the development and innovation of the My Old Mutual app. So as you guys can tell, I've been very fortunate in that I've always had the opportunity to work on new projects that are still being introduced. And that really meant that I was able to learn and understand what goes on in a project lifecycle from its inception through to its development, implementation, and go live. And I think that really is something that textbooks and varsity can't give you. It's that hands-on experience, which is so fruitful. Today, my job is to encourage you guys to apply for the Old Mutual Gap program. And to do that, I have a short story to share with you guys. So in 2018, I was like many of you guys, I was still in varsity, and I started to think about what I wanted to do. So I knew two things: that number one, I was not going to come back to varsity life for a while, and that secondly, I wanted to work for a financial services company. So I started off my LinkedIn profile and I started putting in my applications. And to be honest, Old Mutual wasn't even, I'd never thought of Old Mutual. But anyway, I came across the GAP program applications on LinkedIn and I put in my application. And a few weeks later, I got called into an interview at the Sandton offices. And as soon as I walked in, I was like, I want to work here. Look at this place. Anyway, so I had applied initially for an IT support specialist role. But during my interview, I was constantly being asked about what I wanted to do, about what my passions were when it came to IT. And towards the end of the interview, my line manager to be started telling me about the business analyst role and how much he thought that I was highly suited for it. And I had never even heard of the role, to be very honest, but he was like, okay, no, let me send you some information on it. Let's rather maybe move your application to the BA role. So walking out of that interview, I was so shell-shocked because these people don't even know me yet. They haven't even hired me, but there's already such a keen interest in my career, in growing me, in making sure that I'm taking career choices that are better suited to my passions and, of course, my skills. So long story cut short, I got the role and I packed my stuff and I relocated to Cape Town. And let me tell you, that is the best decision ever. Because the graduate program is really designed to allow the graduates to get a full and a well-rounded experience that exposes them to different aspects of corporate life. That really enables you as a graduate to grow professionally and also personally. For example, my group was the first one to ever go to India, Pune, for the international work immersion, which was for a month. And we did some cloud training there and really got the experience of actually being out of the country. On top of the training in India, each of us have received certifications that are role specific. Like I'm currently still finishing off my certification in business analysis, which was actually sponsored by the program. The graduate program is centered on really giving you as the graduates the opportunities you need to learn more about the IT environment, and really allows you to grow in your chosen roles. I think one of the most important things to consider when you're choosing a company to join is to look at its values and strategies. And part of Old Mutual strategy is to attract young talent and to invest in their growth and give them the keys and the tools that they need to be able to work efficiently and to work in an innovative manner. And by joining this program, you guys are guaranteed an experience that really is focused on getting the absolute most out of you. It will help you grow, not only for the benefit of the organization, of course, but for you and your career as a whole. Old Mutual really is trying to move away from the old in Old Mutual. And I really think that this is such a great time for graduates to join the company and be a part of the journey. So basically, I hope you guys are interested in joining, and I hope to see you guys soon.
Wow, thank you so much, Indy. There's also a lot of love for you in the chat group. They think it's amazing to see such engaged and happy employees. So you did your job fabulously. There's a lot of people out there that want to apply for Old Mutual. There's a couple of questions just for you. Micheline and Victoria would like to know, during your progression through the grad program, what has been your most challenging obstacles? What has been your hardest times?
I think the biggest challenge I had is my degree, information science, isn't the most technical degree. Like if you look at all the IT degrees, it's like probably at the bottom. And I really had to push myself to want to learn, because they came concepts that I'd probably not paid much attention to in varsity. So it was just getting around the technical parts of IT and really understanding it. So I was able to, part of being a business analyst is writing up requirements. So you can't write the requirements if you don't really understand the IT concept. So that really was my challenge.
I think that makes absolute sense. It answers quite a lot of other questions that have come up in the chat room as well. They want to know, basically, Barclay asks, but so do others, what does your normal day entail? What do you do all day?
Well, basically, mostly it's a lot of meetings, to be quite honest. But it's really a lot of back and forth between the business to try and understand what the business wants, and with the developers to sort of communicate with them in terms of saying, this is what the business wants. Are you guys able to provide that? And then the developers usually come back and they're like, nope, we're not doing it that way. We're doing it this way. So it's really a back and forth between the two stakeholders.
Sounds like your days are full of interesting problems. I think we are, it's about 5 to now. So I'm going to round up. There's 3 or 4 questions asking about your interview tips. You clearly handled your interview fabulously. Teresa, Asisipo, I saw one more, Bayanda. I think there's a couple of other people want to know your tips for interviews.
Be yourself. Sometimes you might feel like you're being corny, but be yourself.
Just put your heart across, put your soul across. I'm going to ask you that one last question that I asked you to prepare. If you were still a third-year student, or if you were still at varsity, what words of wisdom and words of advice do you have to leave these over 200 attendees with?
Okay. My advice, guys, is get off Twitter, not Twitter, but get off Instagram a bit more. Try and educate yourself about stuff that actually matters, because when you get to work, you're not going to be sitting next to a 20-year-old. Your colleague is probably older than you. They're more exposed. Subscribe to the news channels. Just learn more about what's going on besides what's in your coursework, because it really comes in handy, especially when you're having conversations with different people in the organization, in corporate life generally.
Awesome. Indeed, they love you very much, and the questions are flowing, but we've got about 2 minutes left, and so I think we should stay on time. Thank you so much. Apparently you look happy, you look delighted to be at Old Mutual. I think that's probably why they put you forward, but you're obviously excellent in your role and a great match and a great ambassador. So thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
And on that note, On that note, here we go. I would like to say thank you so much to Old Mutual. Thank you for sponsoring the webinar, and thank you for reaching out to the students to let them know that you are still there as an employer and that you do still care and that you are still taking on graduates. So on that note, too many questions in the chat group about what does it take to qualify to apply. I'm gonna read out the next slide for you. You need to be age 26 or younger. You need to be a South African citizen and able to work or relocate to Cape Town. In the chat group, it said, will there be preferences for people already in Cape Town? I believe as long as you can relocate, then the preferences will be given to the best fit and the best culture fit and the best individuals. You need to have a minimum 65% average in your final year across all your subjects. And you need to have completed or be in your final year of a relevant undergrad or postgrad university degree in BCom Information Systems, BCom Honours Information Systems, BSc in IT Systems, BCom Computer Science, any degrees with technology modules, a 3-year diploma in IT, or an advanced diploma in IT. So there's quite a lot of spec there, guys. Apply. The next slide up, here's your link, oldmutual.hazy.coza. They've got jobs. You've heard about what an amazing 18-month-long, diverse grad program this is. And as we all know, jobs are sparse, and may the best person win. Also, I'd like to thank you out there for such an engaged chat. It's been very, very difficult to keep up with your chat and to keep up with your questions. I'm aware that we haven't got to nearly half of the questions, but it is time. I will be sending the entire chat log through to Old Mutual so they can choose the winners. They can choose the winner for the 1-hour mentorship session, and they can choose the winner for the tablet. And they can keep an eye out for your names when you apply. So guys, please apply, do it now, stand up and take your opportunities. I'd like to say thank you very much to Tasneem, Carissa, Craig, and Indy for giving their time today. Thank you to the Old Mutual team. And you grad stars out there, please keep an eye on gradstar.com for further upcoming employer webinars where there's further upcoming job opportunities. The next one coming up is actually changed to the 2nd of September, is the Epiroc webinar. So guys, have a fabulous afternoon. Go straight to Hazy, look at the application criteria, and I hope to see you at Old Mutual one day. Thank you very much, and goodbye.